How lazy people can learn English fast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Easy English Stories home channel, where we explore the best tips, tricks, and stories to help you master English, no matter your level or background. Whether you're just starting out or aiming to refine your fluency, our goal is to break down the process of learning English so anyone can find success. Yes, even if you consider yourself a bit on the lazy side. Now, today's session is for those of you who might feel overwhelmed by the idea of studying for hours each day, keeping up with every grammar rule, or constantly practicing. Maybe you're someone who would rather take a simple, streamlined approach, and that's exactly what we're diving into today. So, without further ado, let's get started on how lazy people can learn English fast. 1. Understanding the lazy approach. All right, so let's get one thing straight. Being lazy doesn't mean being unwilling to learn. What it really means here is that we want to find ways to learn English that don't feel like traditional, intense study. This approach is about simplicity, effectiveness, and saving energy, all while making real progress. Some might call this lazy. I call it smart. You don't need to sit with a grammar book for hours to learn English well, and today, I'll show you exactly how. Let's start with a few examples. For instance, did you know that just listening to English in the background can improve your listening comprehension by nearly 30%? Or that a lazy but consistent practice of learning 5 words a day can add up to learning almost 2,000 new words in a year? The approach is simple, but the results can be life-changing. 2. Small and consistent. The power of short, frequent practice. Now, when we talk about learning English without feeling overwhelmed, small and consistent effort is the way to go. It's like a snowball effect. You start small, and over time, the results build up significantly. Imagine this. If you dedicated just 10 minutes each day to studying, by the end of the year, you'd have invested over 60 hours into learning English. That's right. 10 minutes a day adds up to more than 2 full days of learning by year end. It's not about the big leaps. It's about those little steps every day. And here's where things get really interesting. Studies show that this kind of short, regular practice can improve memory retention by around 40%. So, if you're the kind of person who doesn't want to study for hours, just think about it this way. A few minutes every day is all it takes. 3. Make use of passive learning. All right, now here's one of my favorite lazy tips. Passive learning. This is when you learn English without directly studying it. So how does that work? Well, it's all about surrounding yourself with English so that you're absorbing the language even when you're not actively thinking about it. For example, think about the times you're doing things that don't require your full attention, like cleaning, walking, or commuting. This is the perfect opportunity to play some English audio in the background. You could listen to an English podcast, an audiobook, or even an English TV show or movie. Just having the language in your ear can make a huge difference. And here's a fun fact. A study from 2020 showed that people who engaged in passive listening improved their listening skills by an average of 25% after just a month. Imagine what a few months could do. This is especially great for the so-called lazy learners, because it doesn't feel like studying at all. It's just part of your day. 4th, leveraging technology. Apps and tools for lazy learners. Let's dive into some of the tech tools that can make English learning much easier and, yes, lazier. There are tons of apps out there designed for people who want to learn at their own pace with minimal effort, but maximum results. Take Duolingo, for example. It's a great app because it doesn't require you to sit for hours at a time. You can learn with quick 5-minute lessons that cover vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. Just a few minutes each day can have a huge impact. According to Duolingo's own research, regular use of their app can help you learn the basics of a language in as little as 34 hours. That's less than a couple of hours each week. Another powerful tool is YouTube. Here's a fun idea. Find English channels on topics you already enjoy, whether it's cooking, technology, fashion, or travel. Watching these videos with English subtitles can enhance both your reading and listening comprehension without feeling like study time. And the best part is that these tools are available on your phone, meaning you can learn anywhere and anytime. The power of real-world context. Now, another powerful tip for lazy learners is to use English in real-world contexts. Learning in context means you're using English to solve real problems or accomplish real tasks, not just studying in a classroom or from a book. This makes it easier to remember because you're linking the language to your own life. For instance, if you're trying to learn food vocabulary, try using English when you order food online or look up recipes. If you're working on travel vocabulary, check out English travel vlogs or plan a trip, even if it's just a virtual one. Studies show that learning in real-world contexts can improve retention by about 50%, which is huge when you think about how quickly you can progress without formal study. 6. The Pomodoro technique for lazy language learners. Next up, let's talk about a productivity hack called the Pomodoro technique. This is perfect for anyone who wants to learn English in small, manageable chunks. The idea here is simple. You study for 25 minutes and then take a 5-minute break. You can do as many or as few of these Pomodoros as you want, so it's super flexible. A lot of language learners use this technique because it's easy to stay focused for short bursts. After 4 Pomodoros, you can take a longer break, maybe 15 to 30 minutes. This method keeps you engaged without feeling overwhelmed, and it's especially effective if you only have a little bit of time each day to focus. People who use the Pomodoro technique often say they feel more productive and can remember information better, and research backs this up. According to a study in productivity psychology, this method can increase efficiency by up to 60%. So, if you're looking to maximize your study time without spending hours at a time, give this a try. 7. Break it down with 80-20 rule. Ever heard of the 80-20 rule or Pareto principle? The idea is that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. For lazy learners, this is golden because it means you don't have to learn everything to be successful in English. For instance, in English, about 1,000 words make up over 85% of everyday conversation. That means if you focus on these high-frequency words, you'll be able to understand and communicate a lot without mastering the entire language. This focused effort can make your learning experience much more efficient and enjoyable. Conclusion. So there you have it, some lazy but highly effective ways to learn English fast. We've explored passive learning, short and consistent practice, the power of context, the Pomodoro technique, and the 80-20 rule. Remember, learning a language doesn't have to be about pushing yourself to the limit. It can be simple, enjoyable, and still incredibly productive. Thanks for joining me on how lazy people can learn English fast today. If you're ready to take the next step in your English journey, just remember that small, consistent efforts can lead to big results.